Hi, and thank you for joining us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax and other important aspects of running your small business and working for yourself. So today I'm going to talk about whether it's okay to do your keep your accounts yourself, or whether you should use an accountant or a bookkeeper. Before I talk about that, if I could please ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you will easily be able to refer back to this information if you need to, as well as being able to find information that we have on a whole wide range of topics, all aimed at supporting you in your self-employment. We have these categorized to an extent within our playlist, which you may like to explore to find other topics that may be of use to you. So back to whether you can keep your accounts yourself. So the first thing to say about this is, obviously it's really fundamentally important that you have accurate accounts for the period. So ultimately what you're going to need to end up with at the end of the accounting period, and ideally at intervals throughout the period, is an accurate profit and loss and a balance sheet. Now, of course, particularly with your profit and loss, there's lots of things that are going to rely on that being accurate, not least but your tax liability. If you are VAT registered as well, those records are going to be used to produce your VAT returns. So again, accuracy is crucial to avoid mistakes. Mistakes in tax can be costly, not only because you think that you've paid the correct liability, and then you may find out in the future that you haven't, and you do owe tax, which is unexpected. So that can cause all sorts of problems in your cash flow. But also, of course, if it's found that you haven't been keeping accurate accounts and that impacts on the tax liability, then that can result in a penalty situation, with penalties being imposed. So fundamentally, if you work backwards and you're thinking, shall I just do my accounts myself? This is the important thing that you must keep in mind at all times, that whatever you are doing and whatever you decide to do, whether it's even a combination of several things, that it's actually really important that those records are accurate. So working back from that, I guess the next step in your reasoning as to whether you should be looking to do your keeping your accounting records yourself, or engaging somebody to do these for you, is how accurate you feel you can keep the records. So by that I'm talking, of course, about technical abilities. So these days, as we move more into the digital era, it's becoming more and more necessary for us to keep our accounting records within software, at the very minimum in spreadsheets. So this means that if technology is not your thing, then even if you understand the accounting side of things, it could be that that's going to cause mistakes within itself. Then you have to think about, okay, if you're fairly technical and you are confident with actually being able to do that side of things, how much of an understanding do you have of what you're trying to achieve in your accounting software, and the outcome in terms of the profit and loss and the balance sheet. And that's not to say that you need to understand completely everything, but you do need to have some grasp, because otherwise you won't be able to enter the transactions correctly, and you wouldn't inevitably make mistakes, which it would be likely that that could be more costly to have someone correct software that's been incorrectly used, rather than to actually to just pay somebody to do that in the first place. So those are the sort of fundamental starting points in your rationale. And that isn't to say that, you know, perhaps you feel that you have a good level of understanding, but you just don't quite have the confidence to say, yes, that's fine. I'm fairly technical. I understand what I need to do in the software. I understand what I'm trying to achieve. I understand how accounts work. I understand the structure of a profit and loss. But you know, but you want to just perhaps work with somebody who will say, well, actually, you can do up to this amount in your software, which will take out the time that it takes them and keep the cost down, but will support you in that. So it's not to say it has to be an all or nothing. It's about firstly identifying how confident you feel, and if you're not confident, then whether you want to completely hand over to somebody else, or whether you want to work with somebody so that you can keep some control of your business accounts yourself. So the thing then, of course, that we must mention is, if you do decide to engage somebody, whether it's to work with you doing some of the inputting yourself, or whether you're fully handing over, is to please make sure that if you're engaging someone, that they are fully qualified for the services that you are engaging them for, that they're a member of a professional body, if appropriate, and that they have professional indemnity insurance. So please, if you are working with somebody, do check those things. If you are already using MTD software, you will find that your provider will have a directory with people in your area, professionals in your area that can support you, that are specifically compliant in the software that you've chosen. You can also go to the professional bodies directly, who will also have directories of people available in your area for what you are using. And in terms of and in terms of what level of engagement that you need. So this is about pitching the cost and the level of expertise that you will need. So you want to make sure that the person you're engaging is fully qualified to do whatever it is that you're engaging them to do, but they're not overqualified, which could be unnecessary expense. And what you should find with a good professional is, if you do contact somebody that's overqualified for what you need, you will find that they will make that clear to you and let you know some suggestions of the level that you do need to be contacting. So yes, so really it's hard to say generically you know who you should be going to if you do need to source some professional help, but it's just to say, just to make sure that they are fully qualified for what they are doing for you, and that you go to the right level, which will keep it cost effective for you. So hopefully this will help you to decide whether you're going to do some of your record keeping, or if not all of your record keeping yourself, or whether you're going to engage a professional. And as I mentioned, there's no reason that you can't be doing things that yourself, but ultimately the main thing is that any returns that are submitted, any liability that is calculated based on the records that are kept, are accurate, because that is what needs to happen. Thank you very much for watching, and if you haven't already, please do take a moment to subscribe to our channel, and if you have found this video useful, please do give it a like. That helps us to understand which content people are finding useful and which topics people want to hear more of. Thank you. Goodbye.